might be your roommates, might be your classmates. And as we get set for the men's varsity heavyweight 4, Renee, is it safe to say that as we come down the stretch of the big races, there's more parity?
Yeah, I think that's correct. I mean, we're going to have a very strong race here. The men's heavy 4 is going to be a premier event, I would think, at this regatta.
Well, it started off with 9 heats of Varsity 4. So, some of those heats, they won't all have 6 in them, but some of them could. But 4, 5, and 6 crews apiece. 9, then they go through that seeding progression where the top 2 will move on to the semifinals, and then the top 2, and then it'll weed the 9 heats down to 4 heats, or 3 heats rather, and then you get the top 2 from each one of them, and then we wind up with our A final.
Top of the screen: Cincinnati in lane 6, Ohio State in lane 5, Western Ontario in lane 4, Penn State in lane 3, Emory in lane 2, and Minnesota in lane 1 at the bottom of the screen closest to you.
The Golden Gophers are always good in the 4s. Minnesota is a very good history with rowing the 4, and even sometimes the 8. Typically, they'll row the 4 more at Dad Vail's than they row the 8, from my anecdotal recollection. But very, very strong crews always when they come. With they're on the bottom of the screen again, the yellow shirts, and they've got this gold painted oar with red on the outside of the blades.
Yeah, we can see one of the crews is a little bit off course here. Hopefully they'll straighten it out. They do have a coxswain in there who will most likely straighten that out. A lot of the coxswains in this event are actually women, and we see that in men's sports, in the men's rowing, that sometimes there are female coxswains. So it appears that there's a few women out here coaching these crews, coxing these crews, and the race has not yet really begun to shake out. We've got everybody pretty in close contact.
And the minimum weight for a coxswain at this level is 120 pounds. So a lot of times the women are able to more easily make that weight.
Yeah, that's correct. It's 120 for the men in the men's sport, and for the women it's 110. When I was in college, and a lot of the crews do this, the coxswains would lose weight, and they would try to be underweight, and then when they go to the weigh-in, they drink a lot of water, so that, in the hopes that they'll be just a little bit lighter for their crew, because by the time they end up racing the next day, or maybe several hours later, depending upon when you actually weigh in terms of how far away from the race, that they would lose that weight. If it's just water weight, they could either sweat it out or just lose it.
Rowing, is rowing safe to say, most comparable when it comes to the necessary weight limit and weight loss process to wrestling?
Well, not exactly. Again, I mentioned before, because the equipment can be specified to the average weight of the rowers. It really depends on the makeup of the 8. I'll tell you a funny story is that in 2000, the Cal Berkeley crew won the national championship, which is referred to as the IRA, which is a couple weeks after Dad Vail's today. Their average weight was 188.4 pounds for the heavyweight. I mean, that would look like string beans compared to some of the big boys that we'll see in the 8s today. But they won going away convincingly. So it really depends on the makeup of the boat, and really who's comfortable and who works best together. But we see the Western Ontario, again, head coach Volker Nolte, the Western Ontario Mustangs, the heavyweight 4 coach is Chris McCulley, and we mentioned before about following the races. He's got to be pleased with the performance thus far.
Western Ontario also winning the women's varsity lightweight 4 earlier today at the 2012 Aberdeen Dad Vail Regatta.
Yeah, they've got a commanding lead here. They are out in front of the rest of the field. It looks like they have a little bit of open water. They are the second place, third place crews are fighting it out, but Western Ontario is comfortably in front. They look quite relaxed, and they're swinging well.
Yeah, Western Ontario stroking 31 strokes a minute. If we remember, our Drexel women's junior varsity was 37-38 at one point. But Western Ontario looking very, very comfortable. Again, what's your strategy? Is it higher stroke rate, more strokes in, or is it lower stroke rate, more mechanical advantage, much longer strokes, and a lower, more patient stroke rate? Western Ontario has actually had a pretty warm winter, so maybe the Canadians actually were able to get out on the water another month sooner than they typically would be able to.
Yeah.
And they're showing their class right now, just doing a terrific job.
Yeah, I mean, to be out in front so far at a 31, and these guys have got to be very strong. If you're going to row low, you better be quite powerful. 31 is a very low rate for a 4, especially, to be leading this field like that. The wind has died down, so we would expect that as the wind died, the rate would get higher. But these guys are able to row low, row long, and powerfully.
And we can see that from that overhead shot there, Cincinnati out in lane 6 there, trying to pull in, squeeze past Penn State there on our right-hand side. We can see we're just reaching about 400 meters to go. Again, Western Ontario looking very comfortable, but look on the left-hand side of the screen, our Cincinnati crew from Ohio coming out, trying to squeak past the Cincinnati crew with their bucket rig. Can you see it out there on the left-hand side?
And we got
squeaking out past the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, we got Penn State pushing as well. I mean, it's a real battle here between Penn State, Ohio, and Cincinnati for second place. Western Ontario appears to have the lead for first. That seems to be locked up, but Penn State, Ohio, and Cincinnati are battling as they come through the Peters Island.
Yeah, Ohio State trying to get back on the terms as well to see who can get that bronze medal position.
It's clear who's going to get the gold.
Yeah, looking very, very nice here, very comfortable. Doesn't even look like they're sprinting much. Just kind of putting the cap on a very, very nice, solid piece. Western Ontario coach Chris McCulley have got to be pleased with this performance today.
That
like
loud ovation is for second place. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get second place?
It looks like they're battling for third. Penn State seems to have a slight edge. It's going to be a photo finish here for third place. And here they come.
And Cincinnati on the outside appeared to take second place. Penn State with third. And then Ohio State in fourth.
And that was a huge push by Penn State. It was neck and neck between Penn State and Ohio there for that bronze medal. Penn State raised their game, had quicker, sharper catches, and were able to power that boat past.
And again, Western Ontario is in London, Ontario.
Western Ontario, the men's varsity heavyweight 4 champions here at the 2012 Aberdeen Vail Regatta presented by Coca-Cola. Much more coming up.